Well, it is May 11th as I'm filming this and sharing my May PowerSheets goals with you. But like I talked about in my 2021 goals video, I am aiming for that cliche yet powerful progress, not perfection with my goals. And I had brutal mastitis right at the beginning of May. So I'm just going to charge forward with my May goals, even if I did not have them set right away on May 1st. And even though I made no progress on them for a full week because I was too busy puking or massaging my painful boob. So in this video, I'm going to tell you my exact monthly, weekly, and daily goals for May. If you enjoy these goals posts, please hit like so I know to make more like these. I don't know what you guys like unless you tell me. And of course, it'd be so awesome if you subscribed. I have my May goals listed out in a blog post that I will link below this video. And that post also shares my April goals and exactly how successful or unsuccessful I was with each one. But many of my May goals don't make a lot of sense without a little explanation. So that's what this video is for. I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes look at exactly what I'm up to with each goal. And in particular, I want to share how I'm going to be successful with them. Because as a certified professional life coach, I've worked with dozens, if not hundreds of women at this point on their goals. And I know what it takes to set yourself up for success. So I want to pass some of that thinking onto you, kind of help you understand how I think through goals so that if you're a goal setter, or even if you're not, but you just have some projects or habits that you want to achieve, you can start to think more strategically in how you approach them so that you're way more likely to be successful. And as a reward for those of you who stick around to the end, I'm also going to share with you my #1 tip for achieving daily goals and habits. I have this idea when I do these monthly goals videos to always share one simple yet powerful tip with you at the end that you can apply to help achieve your goals just more easily and intentionally. Okay, so I've used a PowerSheets goal planner for many years to set my goals, and I'll link to those in the description. And each month in PowerSheets has what's called a tending list with space for monthly, weekly, and daily action items. So here are my monthly action items first. So #1, make a decision about small group. We have not been in a small group at our church since COVID, and my husband Kyle and I, as well as my best friend and I, have chatted numerous times about this over the past few months about different options. It is just time to make a decision. So I put it on my goals. You'll notice that my goal is not choose a small group to join or start a small group. It's just to make a decision. Because I find, here's a tip for you, if a decision takes enough effort and time and conversation, whatever, to make, I will list it as a goal. And this one does take some effort to make a decision on because it means figuring out what we're going to do with our kids each week during that time if we do a small group. Which group we want to join. Do we want to join a group together, Kyle and me? Do we want to join men's and women's groups individually? All that. And I want to make a decision about this, whether that's to join a group, start a group, or just decide we're not going to be in a group at this point in life and just enjoy more organic church community. And then I want to stop thinking about it and just move on. So in order to make this goal happen, I made a note for myself on my daily planner page for today. I'm going to talk with Kyle about this at dinner tonight and figure out our next steps. Okay, goal #2 is to choose and order some new glasses. Do you have any non-urgent projects that you've been putting off for a really long time because you just don't really want to do them? Yes, me too. And that is ordering new Warby Parker glasses to replace my old ones that are like 8 years old. So that's why I put it on my May PowerSheets. I'm giving myself a false deadline by doing this. And I'm going to get this done by choosing online the frames that I want to try on this Thursday during George's nap time. Because I feel like I can make that decision and I can accomplish that task probably with my 4-year-old around, but probably not very well with him and the baby around at the same time. You know what I mean? You kind of have to figure out like which tasks make sense in which context and situations. So I want to choose those ones that they're going to send to me, to free to try on. And then by ordering those by May 13th, hopefully that gives me enough time to try them on, make a decision, and actually order the prescription lenses before the end of the month, since that's my goal. So if you have a goal you want to complete within a certain month that you cannot get done if you wait till the end of the month to start it, make sure you get started on it with plenty of time to spare. Goal #3 is to update and resume my weekly planning routine on Saturdays. So for years, I had this checklist that I'd go through to wrap up my week, and I just kind of think intentionally and prayerfully about the coming week. And I let that go when I had George 10 months ago, because I think it's good to just test out not doing certain things and see if you miss them or need them. I mean, COVID definitely taught us that, right? And honestly, I did not miss this routine as much as I thought I would, but I'm feeling like a smaller version of that routine might be healthy to resume, primarily to make sure that I'm stewarding well the time and relationships that God has blessed me with by just checking in on those things weekly. Goal number 4, decide if I want to buy and commit to using natural self tanner. So I shared in my 2021 goals video about my health goal for this year related to just feeling healthier. And of all the things that make me feel healthy, of which there are many, the silliest one, yet it does make a difference, is being tan. And my client Kristen recommended this natural self tanner. I'll link to it below. I could certainly afford to just buy it. But again, decision, right? This goal is about making a decision. I just need to think through this decision a little bit before I potentially waste money on this thing, which is why I put on my PowerSheets. So before I spend money on it, I just need to think through where in my already full life I would make the time to be someone who applies self tanner regularly, because that is not something I do right now, and just decide whether I want to make that commitment. Like, I'm just not quite sure yet if having that extra time or being tan matters more to me. So I want to decide that. All right, goal number 5, create a routine to more regularly make meals as a way to love Kyle and give him a break from cooking. My husband does almost all the cooking, and he told me recently when I asked him that the number one thing I could do to make him feel loved would be to cook dinner once in a while, even if it's a simple meal. And if your spouse tells you something that clearly that you can do to love them, you should make it happen if you can. Now, because I like things systemized and I don't like to add things to my plate unless I can really fit it into our family's existing rhythms in a very intentional way, I want to figure out in May how often I'm going to make meals, when I'm going to do them, how I can keep them simple, like freezer meals, crock-pot meals, one-pan meals, etc. And I've been trying to involve my 4-year-old with as much as possible around the house lately. So I'm going to try to create multiple wins from this new routine. Show love to Kyle, teach Harry some cooking skills, and also maybe add some variety of foods into our diet that we don't normally eat with the things that Kyle normally cooks. Okay, goal number 6 is to choose another day of the week, in addition to Tuesdays, to just read at night instead of watch TV. This is a pretty simple goal, but I realized as I was looking at some of my other goals, if I wanted to accomplish some of these other goals this month, especially goal number 10, which I'll get to in a minute, that I needed more dedicated reading time. My baby is not nursing for as long anymore, partially because my milk supply tanked after mastitis, bummer. But also he just was starting to drink faster anyway, finally. So for the last 10 months, I've had, at least 4 to 5 nursing sessions a day, obviously for a while, way more than that. And it's taken him like 45 to 60 minutes to nurse. So I had a lot of time to read. I'm glad that I don't have to spend as much time to nurse anymore, but it just means I don't have as many chances for reading. And so I just want to add in one extra night to the week, in addition to Tuesdays, where Kyle and I only read at night instead of watching TV, which is kind of like our normal wind down thing. And honestly, this is a goal that matters enough to me that I'm not going to rely on Kyle to be on board to make it happen. If he wants to add another night to our week where we sit in the living room together and read our own stuff, great. And if he doesn't, I'm happy to spend one night a week just reading on the couch up here. You can see in the background in our room. And he can have a chance to watch something that he really wants to watch, like Meat Eater. So when possible, here's a tip for you. Try not to stake your success with a goal on someone else's participation. Okay, goal number 7 is to decide if I want to put items in our neighbor's rummage, and if so, prep those items. So are you guys seeing a theme here? It's another decide goal. I need to talk to Kyle before I make this decision. So I made a task for myself in Todoist, which is what I use for time management, to discuss this with him tomorrow. And then speaking of my neighbor's rummage, shout out to those neighbors for letting me borrow this wireless mouse this morning when mine went kaput. I ran over to their house to get it, and I was like, Rob, is this like the 2021 equivalent of borrowing a cup of sugar? I think it is. Anyway, I'm very hesitant about rummage sales because they tend to be a ton of work for very little profit. And we really love to donate items to Milwaukee Rescue Mission when we have items they need. But in this case, if someone is offering to put my stuff in their rummage and I don't need to do most of the work or sit out there, and I'm also in the process of decluttering, it's worth considering. However, I'm going to put some thought into it first before I just jump in and say yes, because like Greg McKeown talks about in my favorite book, Essentialism, essentialists spend more time weighing decisions and deciding whether to say yes to something or not than non-essentialists do, because they are so thoughtful and sparing about doling out their yeses. So I need to think about it a little bit more before I decide if I'm going to go through with that. Goal number 8, get everything to Jessica, someone that we hired on Upwork, so that she can switch our ClickFunnels pages over to Kajabi. So this is just a work project. We're switching our opt-in pages and sales pages to Kajabi. We're already paying for Kajabi to host my program, Fight for Margin, and Kajabi can do basically everything ClickFunnels can. So I'm not looking forward to this project, but it's going to save us over $1,000 a year to be able to cancel ClickFunnels, which is awesome. And that definitely ties in with my 2021 goal to invest in building a business that's simple and scalable and a blessing to others. Goal number 9 is decide how to use my 4 weeks off from coaching. That's going to start mid-June. So for the first time, other than maternity leave, I'm taking a little coaching sabbatical, so to speak, for 4 weeks starting mid-June. I'm just going to be working 2 days a week versus my usual 3, and I'm not going to have any one-on-one client sessions at that time. So I just want to make a little bit of a plan for how I'll use those 2 days a week well. Goal number 10 is related to my 2021 goal number 7, which I shared in my 2021 goals video. And I won't talk about that now since it's kind of personal and it kind of needs some more context. So if you're curious about that, you can go watch that video and learn more. Okay, my weekly goals. Number 1, do my infrared sauna and enema. So I've done these things for a long time, but I had this realization lately. I've been doing them on Sunday evenings for years. But I realized lately that there was actually a better time each week for me to do them. And that has worked so much better so far, not just for me, but for Kyle's schedule and the boys' schedules too. So check in with your rhythms every once in a while. Make sure that they're still serving you and your family well as is, or if they could maybe use a tweak. And then related to, well, kind of related to that goal, because I do them like kind of at the same time usually, is using my vitamin D panel and watching just a short video about health. So one of my 7 key habits related to health that I identified with my 2021 goals was that I want to consume more content that inspires me to live healthy. And my nutritionist, Jeff Langlois, has a great YouTube channel. So I decided to habit stack. I love doing that. And while I'm doing my vitamin D, I'm going to watch one of his videos every time I'm doing that. Okay, another weekly goal is decluttering for 2 hours a week. And that doesn't have to be all at once. But to be honest, I keep going back and forth on how I want to track my decluttering and how I want to approach this. Do I want to track it daily, work on it daily, weekly? Do I want to track the amount of time I'm spending decluttering or the number of items I declutter? Like, I feel like it's helpful for me to have something I'm tracking, but there's just no perfect way to do this. So this is just what I'm trying for this month. We'll see how it goes. Next goal is VIP time in my business. And my VIP time each week varies. It goes back and forth from week to week. It either is spending 6 hours growing my business and my email list and planning that into my week, or it's creating 2 weeks worth of content like this video that you're watching. Okay, and then my goals 5 and 6 are to implement a 2-second lean improvement in my business and implement a 2-second lean improvement in my personal life. If you want to know more about what 2-second lean is, the best way for me to explain that is just for you to watch my most recent video, which I'll link to below. But it's just kind of a fun way to look at like efficiencies and improve things, save time, all that good stuff. Okay, my daily goals. Number 1, 9 hours with the lights out. I learned from tracking this in April that even if I get 8.5 hours of sleep, that's usually enough. But I also realized that I need to aim for 9 to land at least 8.5. Last month, I slept 8.5 hours. I calculated 92% of the time. I know we're getting real nerdy here, but this is how it is here. Welcome. Welcome to the nerdy goal zone. So 92% of the time I slept 8.5 hours, and that was awesome. And I think the biggest thing that helped with that was setting a timer on my phone for about 9:20 and I keep that phone in the kitchen. So when it goes off, it forces me to get off the couch to turn it off. And then once I'm off the couch, that's like the biggest barrier for me. That's the biggest hurdle. Once I'm up off the couch, I'm like, okay, I might as well go to bed now. So, okay, next daily goal, habit, whatever you want to call it, is to do my every mother workout. That's like an app, a program that I bought, Every Mother. And just thank God that I'm healthy enough to exercise while I'm doing that. That's part of one of my 2021 health goals, is kind of changing the way that I view myself and my health. Not viewing myself as like this sickly person with rheumatoid arthritis, but viewing myself as like more healthy and strong. And so, yeah, the program, I had mentioned last month that I was going to try to find something to help with my diastasis recti and like my back and my posture. It's so bad from breastfeeding. And so I chose something called Every Mother. I am loving it so far. There's workouts like about every other day in the 90-day program. So that's what I'm tracking on my PowerSheets. Every time there's a workout, I've been doing it, and I want to keep that up. Goal number 3, continuing to track my intermittent fasting hours. I was doing that last month. So my goal is just to maybe during May see a little bit of an increase in the number of hours that I'm fasting each day compared to April. And then next goal is also related to that Every Mother program and the diastasis recti, which is doing core compressions. It's like the primary piece of the program. You do it daily for like 10 minutes. Next thing is to practice holy noticing. So this is this Christian mindfulness practice. There's a whole book about it. I'll link to it. I've been doing it for a couple months. I really love it. I feel like it really makes a difference. And I realized that doing this during my daily walks with my boys was a good time to practice this. So again, habit stacking. I'm letting myself off the hook that it's just, at this point in my life, it's just not worth it to me. I don't want to say I don't have the time, because if I wanted to make the time, I could. But it's just not worth it to me at this time in my life to try to carve out what he recommends in the book, 20 minutes of completely uninterrupted time every day to sit and do nothing but meditate. So I had been trying doing that. I would always kind of dread it. I wasn't doing it well. So rather than trying to do this practice perfectly or just not doing it at all, I'm just doing it imperfectly during our daily walks, and it's been going pretty well. It's definitely making a difference. Next goal, we're almost done here, and then I'll share with you my tip for you guys. So number 6 goal is go deeper. I'm keeping this on my daily goals for accountability for myself, to just push myself to engage in conversation with neighbors and strangers in public, and just get below surface level conversations whenever possible. And this was inspired by an Iranian missionary and his talk at If Gathering. Okay, final one is to practice adoration. One of my spiritual disciplines for quarter 2 is working through the book Adore again. It's excellent. And meditating on and studying these 31 attributes of God. And so I do that, like I look up the verses and like think things through and adore God and whatever while I'm nursing George each morning. But this goal that I'm tracking here is more about whether I'm finding opportunities to adore God based on the attribute that I'm currently focused on throughout my day, because that's really what I want, is not just for like my 2021 goal related to my faith is to fall more in love with Jesus and to just find him so beautiful and wonderful. And to me, that means far more, like there must be more to my days than quiet time that I check off and move on. And like the Holy Spirit has grown me so much in that over the last years, where like my faith life is so much bigger and all-encompassing than just my quiet time, but it's just something that I long for so much more. Like I just want my mind and my heart to be saturated with the Lord, and for him to just like be present in my mind as much as possible throughout my day. So I'm just tracking, like, so I can kind of be paying attention to it and just be reminded to do it. Like, am I adoring God throughout the day? Right now, like the attribute that I'm focused on is his strength. So like, am I adoring God for his strength and like praising him and, throughout the day related to that? Okay, so here's my tip for you for this month, like I promised, related to daily goals, action items, habits, whatever you want to call them. On the PowerSheets, they're called daily action items slash habits. So do not, I repeat, do not just put down things on your power sheets or wherever you choose to track your habits and hope that that's going to be enough. Like, don't just be like, okay, I really want to do this thing. I signed up for this workout program. Like, I'm going to put it down so that I do it. That's not going to be enough, almost guaranteed. So before you write something down and commit to it, make a plan for when you are going to do that thing each day. Because here's what I know about you. You have enough on your mind every day as it is without also having to track, check in over and over and over and over on your habit tracking tool and be like, okay, did I do that thing yet? Okay, should I do that now? Should I do that later? Like, you have way too much going on to try to be checking this thing every day and every day figuring out, when am I going to fit in my 10,000 steps today? Or when am I going to do my Bible reading today? How am I going to get my water consumption in? So try, if at all possible, to have a consistent time when you do those things each day. And if you're like me, it might be different, like on your work days versus non-work days, weekdays versus weekends. So it might not be the exact same time every single day, but as much as you possibly can, have a consistent rhythm so that most days you don't even have to really think about it. Like, you just follow your routines and your rhythms that you figured out, and you're going to end up at 10,000 steps and you're going to get your Bible reading done, whatever it may be. If you need more tips on habits, I highly recommend the book Atomic Habits. And he's got this amazing cheat sheet with a summary of his tips. I will see if I can still find it online, and I will link to that below if I find it. Okay, so that wraps things up. What's a habit that you'd really like to stick to this month? Comment below and tell me. I can encourage you. I can help coach you to figure out how to make it happen. And again, please hit that subscribe button and the bell notification button, assuming that you want more tips like this, which you made it to the end of this video, so I feel like you probably do. If you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you follow my page. And again, these are the power sheets that I use to set and track my monthly goals. They're amazing, beyond even just far beyond the monthly tending list page. There's so much goodness in them. So I'll link to those if you're interested in that. And if you're willing to share your email address, I would love to send you, I have a free 10-day email series with some goal setting tips. So look for the link to that below this video. I will see you guys next week for another video, and I will see you in June, assuming that you guys liked this post. We'll see this video for my next goals video with some more insider tips for you. So love you guys. Thanks for watching.